Action Park
Media.
How you let me go shirtless on that beach, Doug?
I thought you'd go shirtless on the podcast when we talk about that. What do you think?
To the point where when I started doing Power, everyone on Power has a love scene at some point. I told Courtney, I'm like, I just don't make me take my shirt. Like, I just can't do it. I'm scarred from season 5 of Entourage.
By the way, also wildly illegal and dangerous. Why wouldn't you have had a vest on?
A vest?
What do you mean?
Like a life jacket.
Oh, true. We were not wearing life vests when we were on those wave runners.
He waste water? No.
Jerry was shirtless on a jet ski with no.
Doug, there was whales in the scene. There's scene where whales wash up next to us. I don't think we were knee deep when, I don't even know what kind of whale was next to us.
Right. You know what? So he's supposed to be in a vest, you're saying?
I'm going to call, we should get our SAG rep on the phone.
Here's the other thing, too. It's worth talking about. I mean, it was a decision we made at the time. Obviously, it is what it is. But remember, we also didn't wear seatbelts.
That was early on. We did. We changed toward the end, I believe. And I think it was mainly because it was tough to get into the right position too for camera and the microphone. Yeah,
Doug, I'll let you speak to that, right? But
no, I mean, listen, I have to take.
You think it's worth our safety?
I obviously have to take accountability for everything now that we see what happened, obviously in the Alec Baldwin situation. But I didn't. There were people that were supposed to take charge of that type of stuff. I mean, I would have never.
Right, you never thought you didn't make a conscious decision.
No, I would never say take
pussies.
your seatbelts off.
All right, listen, pussies. We're going take those seatbelts off.
Jerry, get your fat ass on that jet ski and get eaten by a whale. I don't give a shit.
I mean, I think it's crazy that it's funny. Just it's a miss on both. You didn't.
The vest would have also covered up a few things. Could have helped a lot.
What was that? I guess it's the same theory of
I think the theory was like these guys are in some remote location in Mexico living like kings for $40 a day. And there's not like you could do whatever you want down here. I don't think it was, hey, go on our jet ski tour, go see the front desk and they'll get you set up. I almost would say those were Vincent Turtle's jet skis. Like maybe they just bought them and they will do whatever they want.
You should never get on a jet ski.
By the way, the guy who
agree.
advocates for kicking people in the face during a pickleball dispute. I'm shocked about this, but honestly, now that I think about it, I've never even heard this conversation brought up, and I never thought about it. But yeah, you definitely should have had a vest on. But I think we were showing lots of beautiful women in their bikinis, so we had to give them what they wanted.
Are we allowed to talk about? I wouldn't call it a close call, but remember Eric Roberts driving the
RUV,
the Winnebago. It was yeah.
Like a class 2. You needed the same license to fly an F-16 to drive that.
Yeah, that was.
Thought it. He was driving it down the road.
Did anything happen?
Us in it.
No. I wasn't inside.
I just feel like nothing happened, but there was a few moments where I was like, "Has he got this? Like, are we okay here?
Can we reverse this?"
Well, I mean, Jerry, I don't know if you heard this. We talked about it on the podcast, but in the pilot, I just needed to get what I needed to get. And I probably today I'd be fired. But I took Piven to the Ivy where we had no permits and did not ask the Ivy if we could shoot there. But I put a cameraman, I don't remember if it was Perkle, Todd Dos Reese, I don't think it was around for the pilot. I don't remember who was in there, but they got in the backseat of the car. I told Jeremy to walk into the Ivy, make a reservation like in real life, and then come out and do the scene. And Jeremy did it and came a foot from getting run over on Robertson Boulevard.
That would have been the end.
That would have been the end of the show.
That would have been the end of that. You'd have been in big.
I would have been in big trouble, and I mean Jeremy would have been in worse trouble, but it would have been.
Listen, you guys were talking too about the last week, the Seth Green fight stuff in Vegas, and I think Connolly, when you came on Throwbacks, which is not out yet, but a little teaser, like the very famous Seth Green saying to you, like, well, when we were trying to coordinate the fight, like, well, let's just see what happens. Love Seth. But, I am all for, like, some people want to do their own stunts. Tom Cruise. Bro, put me in the corner and I will watch. I am not trying to get hurt. I've got nothing to prove. Nothing. Now, if you need me because really, hey, we'll look better if you could do this one little thing, I got you. But if you don't need me and it's a real thing,
for me, it's nothing.
I'll walk away.
Stunty. Yeah, I can trampoline over a fence into like a pool.
Yeah, you need me to take a little fall, put a mat down. I could take a dive, but
they asked you not to wear that vest, did they? I mean,
no. I honestly, I don't even think it came up.
Yeah.
I don't remember, and if it did, I just my memory. But something else about the set stuff. You're talking about Scott, and initially that cameo in your mind was Khan, right?
Yeah.
And you went to dinner room. Do you remember what? So I had just worked with Scott on a movie, and you were wanting to put him in the cameo. I don't know if I got you guys together. All I know is Scott called me from the dinner
Right.
as a joke and was like, this fucking guy, Doug, is the worst. I'm not doing this fucking show. What do you, this guy's you know what, Jerry? He's a prick. He's a prick. He's a fucking prick. I'm like, what just happened? And he was joking, obviously. He's like,
It was one of my favorite, like, Hollywood dinners ever, because I didn't know Scott at all. And when I pitched to him, basically, that he was going to pick on Connolly, who a lot of people after Connolly talked about the kick in the face were like, Connolly thinks he's tough. And I'll say this again to anyone who wants to listen.
That kind of tough.
Connolly is tough. I'm not saying he can beat up Conor McGregor or Scott Conn. Connolly will fight anybody. And we've all seen it. But my point is, Scott Conn was like looking me straight in the face at Dan Tannis. I'm like, so you're going to pick on Connolly? And he was looking at me like, I can't do that. I'm like, why not? Because I'd kill him.
He was right.
I'm like, we're not talking about you really fighting Kevin.
It's a show, Scott. You're playing Scott Lavin, not Scott Conn.
I wonder.
Oh, he would have been playing himself. That's right. He would have been playing himself.
We got to ask Seth if he remembers this story, but when the Bow Wow thing, remember Bow Wow was my
Oh, gosh. That's right. You guys dusted it up twice.
He fucks with Bow Wow's pilot or whatever it is. And we're supposed to roll around and we're supposed to land. And it was a breakaway table.
Like a table, right.
So they saw the legs off. And then when you land on it, the table collapses. Seth and Bow Wow and I tangle up, and all three of us land on the breakaway table and roll off of it.
It doesn't break.
It's 111 pounds of cold, 3 body weight.
We did not break the breakaway table. We rolled off, and I was like, Jesus Christ, guys, saw another inch off that thing.
Weighing in a total combined weight of 220 pounds, the three of you.
They cut into the inside of the legs.
Right.
The legs, like, may want to.
You guys didn't even
may want to give me another quarter inch on all 4 of these legs.
I just remember Connolly going, Seth has bird bones. Like, he's so light that he could almost lift them and fly away.
Listen,
believe that we didn't break that table. It's crazy.
In all seriousness, the fighting stuff, and we're semi-joking, and maybe we used to get whatever. I don't know why, but on some of my timelines, street fights just pop up. Oh. I don't know if this happens to you.
Twitter.
And I don't want to watch them. They're horrible. They really are.
It's addictive.
Dangerous. But that you see one, you're like, oh shit, you see. And all it does, the reason why I even catch 10 seconds, because it just reminds me, you're fucking 45 years old. You ain't tough. And that maybe you even weren't, maybe you thought you were back in the day, but you definitely aren't now.
Don't want your head
and not only, you definitely don't want that happening on video. You don't want that happening off video. And just so if any of those voices chime in, just shut the fuck up and remember your Twitter timeline.
Also
and just
remember,
keep moving.
And again, if you are skilled rather than tough, like like Scott Conn, Sean Avery was a professional hockey player and a fighter in the NHL. And he, rolled around with Scott Conn, who's trained in jiu-jitsu for 30 years. And Scott's
black belt,
5'6", 140 pounds. And Sean Avery was like, he can kill me. Like, yeah. I mean, so, like, why ever? Did you see that video, that one fight? I know we all saw it. It was like a college bathroom fight where this kind of little
there's just
trained, and this big bully was like picking on him, and he don't get in fights. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's terrible. It's
my brother, who was a cop for obviously many years, said all the time, couple guys just going out to fight over something stupid. Guy falls, hits his head, goes to the hospital, and doesn't come out. Happens all the time.
Yeah. I if I'm not defending my family or someone I love off of something terrible where I'm willing to get seriously hurt to defend anyone, it's
a young man's game.
Yeah, and I feel like, too, I had a better gauge 20 years ago of like, all right, I could run my mouth here and then probably run my mouth out of it if I had to, right? Like, I could run my mouth, and then if some real serious shit was going to happen, I could probably flip it and befriend these guys. There's no more, especially not with the youth of America.
Mark Zuckerberg, Mark
Zuckerberg's going to choke you out. He's a black belt.
Choke you right the fuck out. Zuckerberg.
Can you imagine Zuckerberg took Connolly down like Conn did? Because Jerry, you know the story about the football game where Conn choked. This is real life, not on the show. Do you know?
I think I heard this. Didn't he? Did he choke you out, Kev?
Yeah, he did. He did.
I
I didn't go.
Did you go
all-
out or did you tap?
It started getting gray. Things started-
Really? Like little? You
Yeah,
started.
which is crazy.
Thank you, God.